Meltzer passing. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness.
By Landry, Ariza dropped down. Kobe! Oh! Up high! Down hard! Kobe Bryant!
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! Kawhi, aggressive to the rack.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2024-25 season. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper for any LA sports, NBA, and Clipper content. And you can subscribe to your boy on the Locked On Clippers channel 5 days a week if you're a Clipper fan. And we're live from Los Angeles as always. You can also find this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you can't watch on YouTube. But of course, YouTube is the base. Follow your boy on social media as well, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Dime Dropper Pod. And if you want to interact with me so I can see how much you're listening, download the app Cooler and then use the promo code DIME to get in. That way I can see how many episodes of mine you're listening to so I can get to interact with my audience better. Today, sorry I didn't go live last night. So the whole situation with last night was, I've only missed one home game this season before this week. That was the Portland game, and it's because I was preparing my team for the playoffs in rec. And then this week, I missed the game against the Magic because I had a championship game in rec. So we did get to the championship. We didn't end up taking it home though, sadly. And then last night, I was going to go to the game, but then my two fellow co-coaches in club were sick and one was at a funeral. So I had to carry the load. And plus, it's my team that's playing in a tournament today later. So I had to prepare them. So I've missed 3 games due to coaching, but I do what I love, so I can't complain. I will definitely try to be at the next couple, but it was the return of red last night, and it was beautiful to see, man. I've been a big advocate for getting red jerseys back for a very long time. I just can't believe we ever went away from it, and the reasoning being that, it represents Donald Sterling. Like, I said this on Locked On, but, who registers the color red to that old, ugly, racist slumlord fuck? I don't think anyone. The Clipper red is about the Clippers. It's about those teams you grew up watching, whether it be Lob City or Elton Brand and them, or the Knuckleheads or Ron Harper, Danny Manning. We were red. Always been. So it's great to see that. I still wish the font, though, like the color of the letters was white instead of what it is. But anyway. Clippers, Kings, second time playing them this season, second straight game without Norman Powell, and I was so impressed. It's our second win against the Kings this season, who are a very solid team, and they have 3 star caliber guys, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, and DeMar DeRozan. Going into the game, they were just half a game behind us in the standings. We were 9-7. They were 8-7. The first time we played them, we were the only team at that point of the season to keep them under 110 points. We actually kept them under 100 points. And we were only one of 2 teams to do that so far this season, with the other one being the Spurs. Yesterday, we were down 8-2 to start. By the way, Amir Coffey starting over Norm with the hamstring injury. Hopefully that's not too long for Norm. But the way we responded when they were up 8-2 was insane. They didn't have another field goal for 6-7 minutes. I'm ready to say it. And I'm not surprised. This is the best, and with Kawhi Leonard, it should only get better. This is the best defensive team that I've seen the Clippers have in my 20 years of fandom. And if you just look around the roster, it's evident why. We have a rim protector surrounded by very good point of attack defenders and on-ball guys. I think we've had some solid combinations in the past. I know the defensive ratings are higher in the past, but again, that's era dependent as well. Just like the offense favors this era, the defense does not favor this era. So that's something. But we just like with Lob City, we always had a problem at the wing position for me. Like Matt Barnes was a solid defender, but like we would go with lineups sometimes of Chris Paul, JJ Redick, and Jamal Crawford out there. Like that wasn't some daunting defensive team. We had DJ cleaning up a lot of mistakes, and we had Matt Barnes playing good D. And CP3 was very good defensively. And like JJ would try. And then I think the 2019 team was pretty good, but didn't have this many good defenders around it. And then the 06 team, I mean, we had Elton and Chris Kaman, who were a little bit of rim protection there, and then Quinton Ross, who's really one of the best on-ball defenders that we've ever had. So I think that 06 team can make a claim here and there. But nah, this team, the way Chris Dunn was defending off the ball to start the game, it was ridiculous. Constantly staying attached to the guys coming off dribble handoffs or guys cutting off the ball. I think as a team, we do such a great job as off-ball defenders. We have our hands always out, particularly Chris Dunn, Derek Jones Jr., and Nicholas Batum, so that if passes are thrown and they're not pinpoint, they hit our hands or arms, and then we're going the other way. They're also very good at anticipating off the ball in terms of rotations, but a lot of it is just activity off the ball. Is that alertness, knowing what's going on, chasing guys around screens, ball denial, and talking on those screens. We're not having miscommunications on those off-ball actions against motion teams like Sacramento or Golden State because we're constantly talking. Because we have guys that want to do this, that want to defend, but we also have a defensive coordinator in JVG that is dedicating himself to this. He's been a just godsend. And it's just funny to me when people would one, call Jeff Van Gundy a hater, and two, complain about his complaining when it came to his commentary about the league. His points in the league were very valid. They were very refreshing, in my opinion. There's before I go back to the Clippers, there's this whole narrative that the NBA media does not appreciate their own sport. And I don't agree with that at all. I think in every industry that you have sports talk, you're going to have guys that are biased toward the time they grew up. But I by no means think that this narrative that the people that work in the game trash the sport, I just disagree with that. I think fans do. But to say that just because Charles Barkley and Shaq have criticism that's a little bit on an old school mentality, and Charles actively says he hates the amount of three shot, that doesn't mean he shits on the product, though. That means he has an opinion about the game. If someone said back in the day they post up too much, is that hating on the product? I don't think it is. I think it's an actual basketball criticism. So I just don't think that's true, personally. But Jeff Van Gundy was not one of those guys. And you can see that Jeff Van Gundy still has defensive principles that, given the right personnel, work in this era. He's a sharp basketball thinker. And we should enjoy him that he's on our coaching staff right now, because you just never know what kind of job he could get offered after this. But let's put it this way. Chris Dunn, I mean, the way he was chasing De'Aaron Fox around screens and we're switching every off-ball action, every down screen, all of that, we're snuffing that out. And we're good in front of the ball. And somebody else I have to give a lot of credit to the last couple of games defensively? Plumber Jim, James Harden. Jabbing and recovering and getting back with a hand up. Playing solid defense when they're trying to attack him. And obviously, hands with steals and blocks. That's what James Harden does well defensively. He's been good the last couple of games on that end of the floor. So we responded by not allowing him to score for an hour. Even though we started 1 for 10 from the field, we went on a 20-1 run. And a lot of it was Chris Dunn getting steals, getting stops, and then we were off to the races. Amir Coffey had 7 points in the first quarter, knocked down a quarter three off of Ivica Zubac's offensive rebound and kick out. There was one where he drove baseline and went to the rim, then another one in transition. And then they put in Dougie McBuckets. And James Harden started attacking him in pick and roll and, getting to the cup, getting to his floater. I think he was 1 for 3 on those floaters, but yeah, he was doing a good job getting to the paint. And James, I have to say, the last couple of games, he looks like he has a little pep in his step back. He's getting by guys more. His burst looks pretty solid. Just his lift at the rim is still just not great. And I don't think that's going to go back. Unfortunately, it's just his age. But he had the tween cross, the signature James Harden tween cross on Keegan Murray. And oof, he was he was shifting him. But anyway, by the way, super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 a time. Any donation is appreciated. I'm trying not to lose my train of thought, so I'm not reading the comments right now. But if you want to send a super chat, of course, I will read it. Sabonis was in drop coverage for them. Zubac's obviously in drop coverage for us. But when Mo Bamba came in, he was switching 1 through 5 at times, and he was actually holding his own. He was rebounding. I've really liked what I've seen from Mo Bamba so far. And, I watched him a little bit with the Lakers. I've watched him in different places around the league. And I've never been very impressed with him at all. But 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block in 16 minutes. Yes, he didn't shoot well. He was 1 for 5 from 3, 2 for 6 from the field. So I've never been too sold on his ability to shoot the ball from the outside, even though he's, a willing shooter. But the 6 points, 8 rebounds, the way he's attacking the ball for those rebounds in those 16 minutes and in these first couple of games, I've been very happy to see that. And then KPJ comes in, and he's given us good defense. In the first, especially off the ball, he's been very active off the ball. Guys are reading and rotating so well. I mean, we're on a string now defensively, and I could see. This was the first game, though. The other games, I'm like, okay, we're solid defensively. We got a lot of good individual defenders. Clearly, Jeff Van Gundy has them locked in. But this was the first game where I was like, we're on a fucking string defensively. Each rotation is great. We're making them shoot the shots that we want. Like, yes, they're semi-open threes, but like the likes of Keon Ellis, Trey Lyles are taking them. Like, you know what I mean? We're getting the ball to the guys that we want them to. We're putting ball pressure. We're taking away their first and secondary actions. Like, we have all the makings right now, eye test wise, of a very good defensive team, of a team that's understanding where they need to be. They're so locked in on that end of the floor every night. And definitely Jeff Van Gundy deserves a lot of credit. But me being a defense-first guy, I love to see that. Is the offense hard for me to watch, especially with my distaste of the way Harden plays basketball? Absolutely. It's very hard. But the defense is a joy to watch, an absolute joy. And to only allow 12 points in the first quarter, 17 in the second, it was the lowest scoring half of any team this season in the NBA with 29 first-half points. We were just unbelievable defensively. And when you put Nico Batum and Jordan Miller in there and Terrence Mann, they just add to that. Good moving of their feet, close out strong. I mean, the rotation's so solid. Very proud of the team, honestly. Very proud. The fact that we had that kind of lead without Norman Powell is because of James Harden. And coming up after a word from Mint Mobile, who we're in partnership with, I'll talk about James Harden and Ivica Zubac and what they were doing to carry our offense along with Kevin Porter Jr. Ever wanted to cut back on your monthly bills? You've got health insurance, you got different kinds of insurance, you got your TV, cable, you've got your phone bill, you got your electricity, and you want to cut down, simplify that. Well, that's why I'm so intrigued by Mint Mobile, who this video is in partnership with. They offer premium wireless for just $15 a month. I can get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. I can even bring my own phone along with my current phone number and existing contacts, so I'm not sacrificing anything. I've used Mint Mobile, and the thing about Mint Mobile is it's not hard to switch your service. Big Wireless wants you to think it's hard, but it's really not. Switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones now have, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. If your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. So if you want to save little money without the sacrifice, go to https://trymintmobile.com/dimedropper. That link will be in the description so you can get started. Switching your plan takes as little as 15 minutes. That's Mint Mobile. What's going on, people? I see the chat. 39 people in here strong. Super chats are turned on. Throw your comments in there, ladies and gentlemen. Clippers on a roll right now. Let's get back to it. All right, getting back to it. Clippers, 7 wins in a row at Intuit Dome and 4 wins in a row. 7 wins in a row at Intuit Dome after losing the first 4 games. Is Intuit Dome becoming a fortress? Is the wall becoming the most intimidating thing in basketball? I don't know. But 7 wins in a row. It's nice to have a place to call home and defending it like that after a rough start. So before I talk about the second half, and by the way, Ivica Zubac, so solid on both ends in the first half, finishing around the basket, little lefty jump hook, protecting the rim. I mean, you're finally getting to see what it looks like when Ivica Zubac, a very good rim protector, has like actual point of attack defense. Because everybody wanted to call out Zoo and say he gets cooked and he's a drop coverage merchant and all this. And here's the thing. Rudy Gobert is also a drop coverage merchant, but he's defensive player of the year every year. So when you're good at protecting the rim, that's a huge luxury. You just need guys that can stay in front of the ball. And now you're starting to see what that can look like. So very solid first half. And this episode is also brought to you by DraftKings. The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing boards? If it's a Zubats for sure. Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time, new DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code ABTV. That's ABTV for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 887-897-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/bball. All right. Clipper Nation. Second half last night. Sacramento made a little run, starting with De'Aaron Fox. And he's a great player. He's going to try to push it. He's trying to get in the paint. And he was. And I'm not going to sit here and analyze too much of it. It was part of the game's flow. You knew they were going to make a push. They cut it down to 16 right away. And offensively, part of it was because we got stagnant. So like in the first half, James Harden was doing a really, really good job of getting in the paint, making plays for others. And Derek Jones, I thought, did a great job throughout the game of attacking closeouts and going to the rim strong. And then Zubats obviously did a very good job in the low post and finishing in the pick and roll. And then Jordan Miller gave us some good minutes. So that's why partially why we had such a good first half was after that slow stretch where we started 1 for 10, we started making shots, and that allows our defense to set. In the second half, we're getting stagnant. James Harden had some, he had 3 times he tried to foul bait on those threes. I don't even know if some of them are fouls. I think maybe one of them was, but like whether it's down low or up top, and I mean on the shot, down low on the legs area, feet area, or up top in the hands, he's always trying to sell that 3-ball foul. And it's like, he's the only player in the history of mankind, I guess, that 90% of the time he shoots threes or contested jump shots, he gets fouled. I mean, I just think that he does certain things, but it can hurt our offense when it's happening like that. But overall, he was the one who answered. James Harden, when the Kings went on a 22-7 run, cut it down to 7, James hit I believe it was a step back or just a 3. That was huge. And he hit a couple of big shots in those stretches. And then to start the fourth quarter, KPJ, he's starting to look pretty good now. Defensively off the ball, he's been alert. When DeRozan was trying to go at him, he wasn't bad at all. He got some stops. And then offensively, he's getting in the paint more. He looks quicker. He looks more decisive. Like the game has slowed down for him. He's creating a bit more separation on those step backs. He's actually making those step backs. And when he's making them, man, you really see his shot making ability is impressive. And it's why he's here. And he's starting to get better at snaking those pick and rolls and getting to those floaters and just being a little more under control. I don't know. It looks like it's slowing down for him. And the way he's playing does not look like Bones Highland will be getting in the rotation anytime soon. And Look, I'm rooting for Bones, but I don't think he can play the way KPJ has the last couple of games on a good team like this. KPJ just has that size. He can keep defenders on his hip and on his back better than Bones Highland can. It's just that simple. And he's more athletic. He was really good. I can't lie. He was really good. Part of the reason we won. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, no turnovers. By the way, we had 12 turnovers, which is definitely an improvement from what we've been seeing so far this season. The Kings had 15 turnovers. And by the way, we were up by as many as 25 in this game. Like, we were really up by as many as 25, and we didn't have Norm. Like, this is what happens when you can be a great defensive team. While you do need better offense to win at championship levels, you can be a great team and overachieve just because you stay in games defensively, because even if your offense isn't great or the shot's not falling, you have prevented the other team from getting comfortable. Defense always is first for me as a coach. It's what I do on the youth level. It's what I think NBA teams should always do and how they should build their teams first. I mean, you should start with your best player. You still have a number one that can do things offensively. But in terms of a team philosophy, I'm always defense first. And it's great to see the Clippers. For the first time in my life, I've never said this before, we're a lockdown defensive team. We're not a good defensive team. We're a lockdown defensive team. First time in my life I've said this. And I want to see what our defensive rating looks like after last night. We can't be 6th anymore. It's got to be better than that. Come on now. Come on now. Let's see if we moved up. 5th. Yep. It's OKC first, then Houston, then Orlando, then Golden State, then us. So top 5 defense right now, even without Kawhi. Let's see opposing points in the paint. We're 9th in that category. Wow, opposing points, second chance. We're 2nd. So that means that we're doing a good job defensive rebounding. We have the highest defensive rebounding percentage in basketball right now. And you know who a lot of that's thanks to? Ivica Zubac. You know who else? James Harden. He's done a very good job rebounding this year. So let's see what else. What else I got for the second half? I still think we can go to Zoom more in the post. Like, I really think he's that efficient. It puts pressure on the defense. You want him to get reps in that low post area. I think we could be a little bit more deliberate about throughout games going to him. But Nico, by the way, hit some big threes in that second half. It's good to see him find this shot because defensively he's so good. And Zoo, as I said, just continued to be solid, finishing around with those float shots off the pick and roll, the jump hook. And I saw a stat they showed on the broadcast that Ivica Zubac has made more hook shots than anyone else in the league so far. I think jump hooks count as that, not like the traditional hook shot. And if you count jump hooks, that's believable. Jokic 2nd. But the fact that Zubac has hit more jump hooks or little running hooks than Joker is wow. But yeah, Derek Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, even Terrence Mann when he came in, solid impact all the way around. Amir Coffey, we do it with our defense. Even though we allowed 59 points second half, the fact that we only allowed 29 in the first half basically won us the game. And James Harden led the way for me in terms of scoring. He's my player of the game. This isn't really impressive what he's doing right now. Am I impressed by what he's doing right now? Yes. Am I surprised, or was it something I couldn't predict? No. And to be honest with you, I thought he would average these exact numbers with minus the rebounds, slightly less rebounds, but I said 20 and 9, which is what he's averaging. I thought he would be more efficient. If you had told me he's averaging this, but this inefficient, I'd be like, yeah, no, we're probably like, after 17 games, I'd say like maybe 7 and 10. But instead, we're 10 and 7. And it's because of Ivica Zubac taking a leap that I thought he could, but I wanted to see it. He's averaging 15 and 12 and a half right now. And he's getting a career high in minutes. Then you've got Norman Powell, who's averaged 23 points a game. But the most impressive thing is the ability to win these past 2 games without Norman Powell against a team like Sacramento, against a team that was on a 6-game winning streak, and we've shut them down. Let's read the lines of the Kings. They shot 39% from the field and 20 from 3 and 71% from the line. I mean, shitty in all aspects. How about DeRozan missing 4 free throws out of 7 for the team? That's whack. Sabonis had 24, 15, and 4. 24 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists. But he had 6 turnovers. So we did a very good job there. I thought Zoo did a great job on him defending the rim. Sabonis was 9 for 17 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, 4 for 4 from the foul line. So he was efficient and he did rebound, but we'll take the 6 turnovers. Keegan Murray, 4 for 11. He was 2 for 5 from 3, but just 2 for 6 from 2, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists for him, 2 turnovers. Kevin Huerter had a donut. He, Doug McDermott, and my boy Jordan McLaughlin, my favorite college player of all time, all three of them, donuts, and Keon Ellis, 1 point. So, yeah. Not much from some of those supporting players for Sacramento. Colby Jones, the sophomore out of Xavier, he was a second-round draft pick, 34th overall by the Charlotte Hornets last year. He played a little bit, and he had 5 points in 6 minutes. There was no Malik Monk, and that really hurt the Kings offensively. They only had 3 guys that could create, really, but still no excuse. We have like 1 guy that can create, 2, Harden and, as you can say, Harden, Zoo, and KPJ. 3 guys. But Trey Lyles, I still don't think he's a good backup player on an NBA, on a real team that wants to be like a good playoff team. Like a team that wants to win a series. I just don't think he's that great. 3 points on 1 for 4 shooting, and all those shots being threes. So they got a grand total of 9 points off their bench. Nico Batum scored 9 points by himself, and Kevin Porter scored 14. So Kevin Porter outscored their entire bench. As far as their stars, I talked about Sabonis. Fox, 29 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, complete tale of 2 halves for him. 3 turnovers on 10 for 20 shooting, 1 for 7 from 3. There was a moment where he got Mo Bamba switched on to him and he shot a contested 3. I know it was like semi-contested, but like that's such a bailout if you're De'Aaron Fox. Like, I don't know. You got to be a little bit when you're not doing very well, which the Kings are 8-8 right now. That's not very good considering they just got DeRozan. You got to be a little bit more, have a little bit more, what's the word? Urgency. DeRozan was the one that really got clamped. 6, and a lot of that's Derek Jones Jr., who's guarding him primarily. 16 points for him, 6 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers on 6 for 19 shooting, 0 for 5 from 3, and 4 for 8 from the foul line. Total clamps, 36 minutes. Of course, DeRozan's just going to miss shots that he normally makes as well, but it's 2 sides of the coin. Yes, the Kings didn't shoot well, but yet we also played lockdown D. And by the way, this was another NBA Mickey Mouse Cup game. We won this one. We lost the first one by double digits in Houston, so we're 1-1. We'll just take it one game at a time and play our brand of basketball, which is a defensive-minded brand of ball, baby. It's lovely to hear that from my favorite team for the first time ever. 104-88 is the final. 10-7, baby, after 17 games. I was wrong so far. We're even better than I thought. But I did list ways that I thought we could be better. I said 12 seed without Kawhi. 12 seed. Because I'm also worried about if Harden misses any games. I think Norm can afford to miss some games because we have good off-ball guys, like guys that can work off the catch. But if Harden or Zubac misses a game, we're really, really fucked, in my opinion. But defense will keep us in games. That's been the main key. A defensive-minded team around James Harden with solid role players around it can keep you head above water, even in 2024. Now, I know – actually, I'm going to read the lines first before I go to what everyone's thinking. We went 10 deep. The lowest minutes getter was Mo Bamba, who I talked about already stat-wise. I mean, 6'8", 2, 1-1. I'll take that, man. Like, he's coming in, he's making an impact. And I've never said that about Mo Bamba throughout his career. So, bravo. Then you've got 13 minutes from Jordan Miller. How good did he look? How about the no-dip 3 in rotation minutes, like regular game time? Love to see that. The Swell Chance's name. By the way, I'm going to repeat. The Swell is the name of that heart of the wall you see on TV that I'm in. I don't know how they got that name, but that's what it's called. Anyway, the Jordan Miller chants are great. But there was one play he made that particularly caught my eye. He was got the ball on the drive, lifted the ball, and then scooped it underneath for I forget who, I think he got fouled on the dunk. I was like, yo, this dude has confidence. He's ready to get rotation minutes right now. Right now. Is he? Probably not, because no one's playing bad enough to take out of the rotation. So Jordan Miller, 5 points, 1 board, 1 assist, 1 steal, did have a turnover on 2 for 4 shooting and 1 for 2 from 3, with that 3 being that no-dip cheeser. And then 18 minutes for Mr. Terrence Mann, Better performance from him. I think he's definitely been better in the majority of his bench games. Really solid defense, really good closeouts. He had 5 points, a rebound, 2 assists, 3 steals, and no turnovers on 2 for 3 shooting, and made his only 3, baby. So it looks like the 3 ball slowly starting to come back. I guess he just needed to come off the bench, but he's got to continue to be good because, we don't want him getting subbed out of the rotation because Jordan Miller is going to put some pressure on him. But right now, Terrence's shooting splits are 40% from the field and 29 from 3. So again, just like last year, he's averaging a career low from 3, but we'll see how much he improves it because right now, it's not like he's taken that many. So he can fluctuate that percentage greatly in the positive direction with a couple more makes and a couple more efficient games. So I thought he was solid. Then Nico. He's been not great so far this season. Hasn't really found the shot, but in this game he has, and he's starting. There's been like 2 out of the last 3 games. He's shot the ball pretty well. He had 9 points, 3 rebounds, no turnovers on 3 for 6 shooting and 3 for 5 from 3. The last 3 games, he has shot 7 for 11 from 3. So there you go. Maybe he's starting to find his shot for the season. He's shooting the 3 ball at a 36% clip. So that would be his worst since the 2019-20 season with Charlotte. So before we revived his career. So hopefully he'll be getting that up. And I think he will. Same thing with him. It's not like he's shot that many. So he'll be able to, swing that percentage upwards very easily with a couple of good games shooting the ball. Then you have Kevin Porter. Actually, no, Amir Coffey got less minutes than Kevin Porter. 24, 7 points in the first quarter, set a nice tone. And defensively off the ball, he's been fantastic all season. He's part of those guys that I say talk off the ball, and they're constantly switching off the ball to snuff out the actions of the opposing teams. And his ball denial has been very good. A double-figure game for Amir. 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnovers on 5 for 9 from the field and 1 for 4 from 3. It's great to hear all these role players having no turnovers because, that really helps. He's shooting 50, 45, 85 splits, and he's averaging 10 points a game this season, Amir Coffey. Like, he's hooping. The brewmaster, the Folger soldier. Build me up coffee cup. He's been a beast. And then we got KPJ, who's been playing very well the last couple of games. 14 and 6 rebounds for him to go along with 2 assists and no turnovers. He was 0 for 5 from 3, but he was 7 for 16 from the field, which means he was 7 for 11 from 2. So that mid-range, that little fadeaway was looking good. And that floater, he was creating a little more space on it and getting deeper in the paint. So I was like, okay, he's kind of hooping now. So shout out to Kevin Porter. He's been playing well last couple of games. Then you have the starters. 27 minutes. I already talked about Amir, but 27 minutes for Chris Dunn. His stat line would never tell you what kind of game he had. 5 points on 2 for 11 shooting and 1 for 6 from 3. Sounds like he was awful, right? Wrong. He had 8 rebounds. Mind you, he's a guard. 2 of them offensive. 4 assists. 3 steals. And no turnovers. I mean, he was great. He was great. He's one of the best defenders that I've seen with the Clippers. He's up there with the Q Rosses and the Luke Baumutes. But yeah, he's been a joy to watch. Then you've got Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. had a very good game, and he did it on both ends of the floor. 17 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal on 6 for 13 shooting. He was 0 for 4 from 3. So he was 6 for 9 from 2. And he was just really attacking the basket, attacking closeouts, made all 5 of his free throws. So that was great to see. And then you have Zoo and James. By the way, we shot 41.5% from the field, so not even that great. And we shot a putrid 24% from 3. But we were 100% from the foul line. 16 for 16. You got to love that. Got to love that. But see, even in games where you shoot 24% from 3 and 41.5% from the field, you're winning by that much because we fucking lock up. By the way, I see this comment, and I'm going to go to the comments in a little bit, but someone says, why are there Laker fans here? Because Laker fans have built my channel up, guys. It's an LA sports channel. That's why it's not Clip Dropper. So I invite Laker fans to my Clipper vlogs. I'm sorry, videos, and I invite Clipper fans to my Laker videos. Anyway. And by the way, as far as the Laker fan thing, I have been really bad about that, watching Laker games, because I've been so busy. Like, I've legitimately not been watching any other team's games right now. I will speak a little bit about the last Laker game I watched after I'm done with this, but I do apologize to the Laker fans. I will get back on track. I know I've been saying that for like a week, but the Clippers are away from home, so I won't be going to Intuit Dome. 2 of my seasons ended in the wreck, so and then next week the kids have Thanksgiving break, so I won't have school practice, so I'll have way more time to watch some games. But anyway, let's end it off with Zubats and James Harden. Zoo had 10 points and 15 boards and 4 assists. He did turn the ball over 4 times, so he did block a shot too, but he has been turnover prone. But we need him to learn, so it's going to have to keep happening. He was just 5 for 8 from the field in 31 minutes. That's not enough for me. He needs to be getting the ball more. He needs to be shooting more. 8 shot attempts is not good enough. And then you have 13 strippers, James Harden, who was my player of the game. 22 points, 6 boards, 9 assists, 3 steals, and a block. So active hands. As I said, he had a good defensive game. He did turn the ball over 4 times, but I'd rather have that than 5 or 6. He shot awful again. 5 for 18 from the field, 2 for 10 from 3, but 10 out of 10 from the line. And as I said, created so much offense. He had the highest plus minus of any player in the game for either team, with a plus 14. In 36 minutes, he was my player of the game. Been very impressed with him. And the fact that we're 10-7 is just insane. It goes to our defense being even better than I thought. Norman Powell being the bigger surprise of the season than anything else, just how much he's averaging. And James Harden has not missed a game, knock on wood. So it's been impressive from him. And obviously Zubac's taking the leap. But yeah, really briefly, before I go to the comments, I'm going to talk about the Lakers' last game I watched. So I watched their game against the Grizzlies in Memphis, where they didn't have AD, so it wasn't even like a contest. And D'Angelo Russell shot that shot. And at that point of the season, he's been really bad. And JJ Baby Dick got so mad, he was slamming his chair like a little child getting mad, temper tantrum. And the next game, which is the last one I watched, was the Philly game with Paul George. JJ benched D'Lo. He put Cam Reddish in the starting lineup. And that was an interesting choice. Now, obviously, when Vanderbilt comes back, it's probably going to be Vanderbilt, and they might just go really, really big. But Cam Reddish had moments last season where he was very good defensively, but then he slowly kind of fizzled out and started shooting poorly, and it was just not worth it to play him. His defense wasn't good enough to justify it. So he played pretty well in that first game against Philly where he started. And D'Lo played well off the bench. And Paul George, he was still in that minutes restriction. Maxey got hurt in the game against us. So, I saw Paul George get into the basket a little bit more, but he's not playing enough in those first 3 games to make a real impact. And so they lost. And Anthony Davis was just all over the game. At that point of the season, I haven't checked his stats for a little bit, and I'm not going to, but he was averaging 32 and a half points at that point. And he went off again. Like, he's been dominant this season. Like, dominant enough that he looks like a number 1 option on a championship team. And then LeBron got a triple-double. It's like what he's still able to do at age 39 is ridiculous. Like, there was one stretch at the end of the game where he hit a 3 and he's shooting the ball so well from 3. He got a rebound and outlet it to AD right on the money. Like, just the game is so easy for him now. Like, even though he's so old, he still can see over the top of defenses. He's still quick enough to get by guys when they're pressing up and get his shoulder into guys. Like, he's so strong. It's really how strong he is, mixed with the basketball IQ and the fact that he's gotten his jump shot even better. Like, it's impressive. But yeah, good win for the Lakers there to bounce back off that shitty road trip they had where they lost the Pistons. Like, we talked about that game on Basketball and Figueroa, but I mentioned it too because I watched it. And I think I mentioned it on a recent live, maybe the last one against Houston. And yeah, like they had a bad road trip. So it was good for them that they bounced back. But that's all I got for the Lakers. Like, I got to watch more of their games. I haven't been super in tune with them or any other team. But yeah, now to the live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Thank you for listening on audio. You can, remember, if you want me to see who listens on audio, because those are the guys, the people I don't interact with the same way. So download the app Cooler, and the invite code is Dime Dropper. It's either Dime Dropper or Dime, one of the two. But yeah, have a great weekend. And the next time I'll be live, honestly, I have no idea. Peace. All right. Hold on one second. Let me read the comments.